Okay, so we're going to just talk a little bit about budgets for RLA and your programs. We kind of added this section just because usually we have a lot of people that have questions, don't really know how it works, so we're just kind of giving an explanation of how you guys' programs are funded and kind of how that all works. So Residence Life, each year we go to Senate Finance in the spring, just like all other clubs, and we propose what we want to do for the following year for programs. And so the money that we're awarded from Senate Finance is used for programming for RLA and for the club and for Residence Life for all of our programs. So it can be active or passive, but it has to be open to all students. So it can't be money, we don't spend the money on t-shirts for you guys, we don't spend the money on training for you guys, it's nothing for you guys specifically as a group of RAs, it's only for programs that you're putting on for the entire student body. So you can't do programs like just for a couple people. We do have you guys do a floor program, but we have everyone on campus do a floor program. So everyone's doing a floor program to build more community with their floor. And so that's kind of how that works. This year we asked, as most of you guys know, we asked you guys to do program planning over the summer and propose them to us by June 1st. For those that were hired over the summer, they kind of got started later. So what we're doing is those RAs we're going to meet with, and we'll basically just be adding them onto some of the programs that we've already planned so they can get a feel of how it works. But those programs are already on the calendar, they're already planned, we have the entire semester planned. There might be a few things here and there, changes that we need to make or add just depending on what student needs are. The exciting part about it is it's way easier for us to plan this way because we can start with a budget and know how much we have for the semester and plan backwards, where before we were kind of trying to guess and plan as we go because we wouldn't get your proposals till the month before, so we'd get to the end of the year and have either more or less money than we thought we were going to have. So this is just definitely an easier way for us to plan. So, but we spend our money and we try really hard to spend it on what we propose. So it's really hard when we're doing this many programs to look at a list and say, we're going to do this, this, and this program. But our bigger programs, we try to plan ahead. So when we go to Senate Finance and say, we want this much money for homecoming, we try to already have an event in mind. So it's kind of hard for you guys because you're just planning for this year. But for us, we're trying to think farther in advance to next year so we know what to propose. So if you guys have like a program you're thinking, it's going to be amazing, and next year as an RA, I want to do this huge program, you should come talk to us so that we can propose to have funding for it, if that makes sense. A small amount of money is retained for programs that come up during the year. So these are the ones I'm talking about that aren't on the calendar right now, but say it kind of is a student need that comes up throughout the semester and we're like, we probably need to address this. It's more of an educational program or something like that, then we're going to throw it on the calendar later. So we do have a little bit of money in the budget for that. So this is how the process works for program budgets. You submit the proposal to Residence Life by the deadline given. For you guys, it was June 1st. For spring semester, it will be mid-fall semester. We'll give you that date later. The pink slip. So all their programs were either approved or modified over the summer, and we will give you, before your program happens, we're going to give you a pink slip. You'll still have to take that pink slip with you to Walmart. So it's not going to tell you necessarily that much information because you already know if it was approved from us or what you need to change. But what you need to do with that slip is take it with you to Walmart so that the RD checking you out knows how much you were approved for. The nice part, and a change that happened over the summer, we no longer are limited to just Walmart or Safeway. So we can shop kind of anywhere, but you need to check with your RD or with me beforehand to make sure it's okay. We still need it to be tax exempt, so there's some places that either they're not going to work with us, it's going to be too difficult to do tax exempt, so we're going to have to go through someone else. The nice part is one of the biggest places that I've had people ask about is Amazon. A lot of times they have a lot of stuff that we need that maybe Walmart doesn't, or you can kind of find a lot of stuff even if we find a vendor that has something we want, but they're not easy to work with on the tax exempt status, we can go to Amazon usually. So just work with us if you have stuff that you want to get. This doesn't mean though that just because we can do it through Amazon that you should do everything through Amazon. A lot of times it's still going to be cheaper to go to Walmart. So if Walmart has it, I'm still going to say go on the Walmart trip and do that versus ordering it from Walmart or from Amazon. Amazon isn't always the cheapest, and so just price check and make sure we're doing our due diligence there. And then talk to the AD. You're not going to go on to Amazon and order it. We're going to order it for you. So just talk to the AD if you have, like, hey, I want to order this. I need this specific product for my program. Can you help me out? Like, I think I found it here, and they'll be able to help check into some of that. Look at the Walmart schedule. You guys we're all given that earlier this morning. Post it in your room. Do whatever you have to. There's usually one in your mailroom or office or wherever in your building too. But that's the schedule of when everyone is going to go to Walmart. The RDs go Mondays and Thursdays this year at 8 a.m. So you should have all your stuff like in a cart ready to go by 8, and they'll check you out at 8. So don't show up at 8 and then do your shopping. Shop beforehand. Be ready to go at 8. They'll come and check everyone out. So call them in advance. We ask that you call them 24 hours in advance. Say you kind of forgot and you didn't call them by Thursday at 8 a.m. That's not a big deal, but call them that night or call as soon as you know, because if you wait till Thursday morning or to go, they may not be going, and that's their office hour. They may have already scheduled a meeting with a student or a judicial hearing or something during that hour, and if you haven't already told them that you need to go to Walmart, they might not have anyone else to go and they weren't planning on it, so you're kind of out of luck. So just be sure to give them some notice. Shop for your supplies. Ensure you're being good stewards of money. I'll talk about this in just a minute. Turn your paperwork into me within 2 days and include the price sheet. The price sheet's out there on the group page. So you just need to use the price sheet that's there. I want it on a separate sheet. And I also want you guys to make sure it's legible. If a student signs their name and I have no idea who this is, I have to actually give them a name, not just a signature. I have to be able to say what student in our student body won the prize. So use the price sheet that's out there. It has a place where they're supposed to write their name and then sign it. Just use that one so it's on a separate sheet. What I have to do with that is attach it to the bill and turn all of it in together, so I separate it from the rest of the programming paperwork. That's why it's on a separate sheet now. And I have to turn that in. It's all about billing, and if I don't do it on time, then I get a call from someone else saying, I didn't have this, now it's late, so that's why we have to turn in. They can't pay the bill until they know who won the prizes that are listed on it. Our responsibilities, you guys are, part of your job is just planning programs for all the students, but we must ensure when we're spending money from the students that we're being good stewards of the money. And what this means for you guys is that you're spending it on the right things. You really need the money for your programs. You're not just blowing money on stuff because you want to spend it and you got approved for $500 and you really only need $200. If you don't need the money, don't spend it. And make sure you're spending it on good things. It's always helpful to do research to make sure you plan correctly. Don't just show up at your program 5 minutes before and expect it to just happen. Show up with enough time, put some thought into it, plan it, make sure it's going to happen right. Keep track of your prize winners and paperwork. Some tips, use generic brands. I know there's sometimes that the quality's not quite as good, and if that's the reason that you're not using generic, that's fine. But you should always try to use the cheapest that you can because we are still limited on funding. Shop around to get the best price. Ensure that your budget is itemized. We had a lot of this over the summer on the proposals. People just saying, I need $200, and they kind of listed what they needed, but not really. Like, we need an itemized, like, I'm budgeting $20 for pop. I'm budgeting this, this, and this for whatever you might need. Otherwise, we're probably not going to give you everything you asked for. If we have no idea why you really need that much money, we're probably not going to approve it. So, be diligent in getting your receipt to my office within 2 days. Mary went over prize winners. So shop for vendors early. If you're using someone other than Walmart, their shipping could be 2 weeks. It could be a month. I mean, depending on where you're trying to get things from, it could take a while. I have Amazon Prime, so with Amazon, as long as you're ordering with Prime things, we can get it here within 2 days, but that's about the exception. I mean, not everything on there is eligible for Prime. Not everything on the internet is going to come very fast, so just be careful with that. Don't expect someone else to go to Walmart for you. Just kind of plan. If you're that person for the program that's getting supplies, but you cannot make a Walmart trip this week, call another RA to go for you. Don't just expect the RD to go. If they were going for everybody, it would be a nightmare. So just try to be really careful about doing that. Do you guys have questions about how that process works as far as like with the new card and everything, or it doesn't change anything for really you guys except that you can look to other people for purchasing. I'm going to give you some tips. It says just for advertisement. There's a few other tips. It's probably good to post this, put it somewhere where you can reference it. It's just things that people forget a lot about programming and what things you need to do. Gift cards, while it's still okay to purchase gift cards, I just think that sometimes we can be more creative than that. I think that if you're doing a program that is a beach barbecue, you could get towels and water bottles and things that kind of go with that theme, just so that we're not always just giving away gift cards. That's kind of like the easy card, and I know people love it, but I think we can be more creative than that. Pull your resources, work with other clubs, work with other groups on campus, the Pit, Senate Cab, any of the programming groups that are doing things, just ask them. And sometimes we don't have enough funding to do as big of a program as you want, but if you go to the Pit, they might be looking for something to do, and they could say, yeah, I can put in $200 and we can get something really cool, you know? So I think that that's a good way to look at those big programs that we still want to do. Do you guys have questions or comments about programming? Budgets specifically, how it works at the moment? Okay.